The 2022 edition of the Moto G Stylus has a clearance wreck vibe, since it's probably one of the last new phones to be sold in the US without 5G. But if Motorola is cleaning out a space for a new season of 5G devices, then it makes the 2022 G Stylus a heck of a good bargain. The G Stylus in theory costs $299, but it's on what seems likely to be a permanent markdown to $279. That's right, on pace with last year's version of the G Stylus, but Motorola has made some upgrades to this year's edition, including a bigger 5000 mAh battery, a bump from 4GB to 6GB of RAM, and a 90Hz screen for faster refreshing. It still offers a huge 6.8-inch 1080 pixel screen, and of course its namesake built-in stylus. There's different processor, a MediaTek Helio G88, which take the places of last year's Snapdragon 678 chipset, a headphone jack, microSD card slot to augment the 128GB storage. And in-box charger are all included handy features that are being slowly phased out by manufacturers, starting with flagship and trickling down to the mid-range. Get them while you can. Generally speaking, not including 5G is a bit of a drawback. 5G networks in the US are starting to get much better, and that will continue over the next few years. But depending on your carrier, where you live, and how you see your phone, having a 4G only phone might not be a big deal at all. That's the clearance rack value proposition. It's not the latest and greatest, but if it's the right fit for you, then it just might be a winner. For its namesake feature, the 2022 Moto G Stylus offers a massive canvas, a 6.8-inch 1080 pixel panel with a 90Hz refresh rate. It's an LCD panel and it's on the dim side. I use the phone indoors more than out, but I still needed the brightness cracked up to 80 or 90% at all time. Visibility isn't great in direct sunlight, but it's just good enough to see what you are doing. The faster than standard refresh rate is nice, and you'll notice a little extra smoothness as you scroll. As you might have guessed, that huge screen makes the whole phone big, really big. There's no chance of using this thing comfortably with one hand, and it looks ridiculous sticking out of the pocket of my joggers. I got used to it over a few days, and the big screen certainly fits a lot of content, but it's definitely a lot of fun. Most new phones in 2022 are shipping with Android 12 at this point in the year, but the G Stylus is still preloaded with Android 11. Motorola says the phone will get upgraded to Android 12. That will be its only OS version upgraded, but isn't offering any specifics on timing. The company also promises 3 years of security updated on an every other month schedule. The company also promises 3 years of security updates on an every other month schedule, which is 1 year longer than it promised with last year's model. That's an improvement, but it still falls short of Samsung's commitment of 4 years. This is normally when I'd come over which 5G band the phone can use, but in this case, it's an easy answer, none of them. Unlike a year or two ago, 5G connectivity is something you should consider when buying a new phone. T-Mobile's 5G network is already fairly strong. Likewise, Verizon and AT&T's network will improve over the next couple of years. For the most part, that will mean noticeably faster speeds compared to 4G, so that's something Moto G Stylus won't be able to take advantage of. It's a strike against the Moto G Stylus, but not a deal breaker. The 5G expansion in the US will be focused on major cities at first, so if you live somewhere more rural, having a 5G device probably isn't a priority now or in the near future. And if you are otherwise happy with 4G speed or must spend most of your time on Wi-Fi anyway, then you will be just fine with a 4G device for the next few years. The Moto G Stylus isn't really designed to last much longer than that anyway. The Stylus feature set covers all the basics. There's a straightforward note-taking app. That's the first thing you'll see when you pop the stylus out of its silo on the bottom of the phone. There's also a coloring book and a shortcut to capture a screenshot so you can notate or doodle on the image. Nothing as fancy or as advanced as the much more expensive Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra can do, but a nice tool to have when you want to jot something down without unlocking your phone, even if you don't end up using it often. In fact, my own mother, a Motorola Devote and G Stylus 2021 owner, sealed heads up with a case that covers the stylus silo entirely. She's perfectly happy with her phone stand styles, to each their own. Motorola claims that the G Stylus 5000 milliampere batteries will last up 2 days on a single charge, so I took that as a challenge. After the first day I spent testing the phone, the battery was down around 50%, but I didn't recharge overnight and trusted it to last through the next day. It did, and in total I got about 6.5 hours of screen on time and was down to 18% by the end of the day too. I spent a lot of that time on Wi-Fi, which probably helped, but I did bump the screen refresh rate up to high setting to push it a little. Either way, that's impressive stamina, and even heavy users would likely get through a full day without needing to top up the battery. There appear to 3 cameras on G Stylus rear panel, but one of them is a 2 megapixel depth sensor that you can ignore. There's a 50 megapixel f1.9 standard wide camera and an 8 megapixel ultra wide plus a 16 megapixel selfie camera. Last year's model had a dedicated macro camera. This time the ultra wide does double duty as the macro sensor. Overall, the G Stylus cameras produces well-balanced images without going overload on color saturation or HDR effects in high contrast scenes. Both rear cameras do a good job in good lighting, but there's some noticeable noise in images from the 8 megapixel ultra-wide taking a moderately low light. Video recording is only available at 1080 pixel, which is unusual. Most phones these days can shoot 4K video. There's a fairly aggressive crop too, even if you turn electronic stabilization off. I don't imagine the lack of 4K resolution video will bother a lot of people buying this phone, but 4K is more or less the new standard for high resolution video, so that's something to note if video is important to you. Otherwise 1080p clips are just fine. If you do not want something a little more future-proofed, the Samsung Galaxy A32 5G is a good option. While it's still in stock for the same price as the Moto G Stylus, it offers similar performance and equally good battery stamina. On the downside, its screen is smaller and lower raised. It only comes with 64GB of storage, and of course, there is no stylus. If you are not concerned about future-proofing for the next generation of wireless technology and a big phone with a big screen just your size, then the Moto G Stylus is a bargain rack deal for you. So that's all for so thank you guys, thanks for watching. If you like the video, feel free to share with your friends. Go check out the description box below to get this awesome gadget, and don't forget to subscribe our channel for more latest cool reviews.